What is up, everybody? I'm George Massey. So last night, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 16 is aired. We have one more episode to go, but before we get to that last finale episode, I want to talk about what happened last night between Kim, Usman, Muhammad, and his wife about his son Mahadi. So Jamal is in Nigeria, and they're actually having a serious conversation with Usman's brother about an adoption. Now, this adoption conversation is something that you would think would have taken place prior to Kim and Jamal arriving in Nigeria, but it did not. So this is an actual blindside situation where they actually meet with him in Abuja and ask if they can take his son to America and raise him as their own. Not only are they caught completely off guard, they're actually shocked at the situation. And then even considering that they would consider it, there are conditions and reservations. Now, that's not even hard to comprehend. If someone asked to take your child to a foreign country, you would have reservations, you would have conditions. And we learned that conditions are something that are pretty normal in the Nigerian culture, because when Kim received the blessing from Usman's mother, the conditions were not only serious, but they were in writing. They had to be signed in the form of a contract. And this is not something that they take lightly. So the conditions are that Mahadi needs to be raised in their own religion and culture, which is Muslim. Now, in order for that to take place, both parents would need to be Muslim. Now, Kim does not feel that converting to Muslim is something that she's able to do. She has never been a Muslim. She is slowly learning about their culture, but it's not something that she actually wants to convert into. And I actually feel like a lot of people from the show have converted, and they've only done it to make their relationships work. And I feel like you should only convert to a religion if that's what you really want to do. It shouldn't be to be in love, to get married, to please a family, or to do anything like that. Now, the child would need to be raised by two Muslim parents, but at the same time, Usman is going to be going back and forth between two countries. So, in order for Mahadi to be raised by a Muslim parent, that would cause the need for Kim to convert. Now, Jamal feels converting is going too far, and actually, Kim feels the exact same way. This is just another long list of compromises that this relationship has caused. Now, Jamal feels the list of compromises just keeps growing and growing. He feels that his mom never actually wanted another child up until Usman said that he wanted another child, and now she's willing to grant that request. And he just feels like she's making too many sacrifices and changing too many things about her life to be in this relationship. Now, Kim feels since they're in love, when you're in love, compromises are not something that you shy away from. You do what you can to help each other and build that relationship together as a team. Now, this is the actual last ditch effort for this plan. They have so many different pieces and layers to this plan. So this is the last plan, because the only other plan was to take on a second wife, and we've learned that the second wife actually is not something that they can do, because that would ban Usman from entering the US on a spousal visa, because having more than one wife is illegal in the US. Even if those wives exist only in other countries, it still doesn't matter. The visa process will be compromised. So this is the last effort. Now, if Muhammad does not grant them permission to take Mahadi to America as an adopted son, this plan will actually blow up in their face. There's no other way to make this marriage work. And it seems the conditions are something that Kim was just unable to do. He did say that he would consider doing this if Kim was to convert and be a Muslim, and it doesn't seem like that's something that she's willing to do. So are the negotiations closed? Is there any other way that they can make this happen? Because this is the last piece of the puzzle in this very complicated and complex plan. Now, what do you guys think is going to happen? We have one episode left, and we did see last night for next week's preview Kim walking away from the hotel room, slamming the door, and she took off her ring and left it on the counter and said she's done. Now, let's not jump too far ahead, because we have seen Kim do things like this and storm off in a very fit, angry rage. So we do need to make sure that we're not over reading into this. But do you guys think that she's really willing to walk away from this relationship after all that she's been through, after all the trips, after the blessing, the written contract, accepting the idea of a second wife, accepting the idea of adoption? Is this something that she can walk away from? All right, guys, I'm George Massey. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at George Massey and at georgemassey.com for all your 90 Day Fiance news, interviews, and updates.